I'm going to tell you the story about Coyote Dick. I heard this one some years back from an old trailer park manager. His name was Old Red and he claimed native blood. He was not wearing his teeth, he hadn't shaved in a couple of days. His nice old wife, Willow Dean, had a pretty but battered face. She told me her nose had been beaten in a bar fight. She had a pet chihuahua that she kept in the playpen. They owned 3 Cadillacs, none of which ran. He was the kind of man who wore his hat while sitting on the toilet. I was collecting stories and pulled my little trailer onto their lands, and I was meeting stories about the environment and the land itself. Old Red looked at his wife real sly and rubbery, and with a smile provoked her by sneering, "I'm gonna tell her the story about Coyote Dick." "No, Red, don't tell that story, Red, don't," Willow Dean said. "I'm gonna tell her about Coyote Dick anyway," Red asserted. "I'm telling her right now, Willow Dean." "Red, please don't tell her that story." She covered her eyes, sat sideways on a chair, pretending to be blind. And this is what old Red told me. He said he heard this story from a Navajo, who heard it from a Mexican, who heard it from a Hopi. Once upon a time, there was Coyote Dick. He was both the smartest and the dumbest creature you could ever hope to meet. He was always playing tricks on people to get what he wanted, and any time that he wasn't doing that, he was just sleeping. Well, one day, while Coyote Dick was sleeping, his penis got really bored and decided to have an adventure of its own. So it detached itself from Coyote Dick and ran down the road. Actually, it kind of hopped, like it hopped down the road. And so it's hopping and hopping, hopping down the road, having a great time. And hops into the woods, it's having a beautiful time. But oh no, it's hopped right into a bunch of stinging nettles. "Ouch," it cried. "Ow, help," it screeched. The sound of all this crying woke Coyote Dick. And when he reached down to start his heart with the accustomed crank, it was nowhere to be found. Coyote Dick ran down the road, holding himself between the legs, and finally, when he came upon his penis in the worst trouble you can imagine, he coaxed him, calmed him down, and soothed him and put him back where he belonged. Old Red laughed like a maniac, having a coughing fit, eyes bulging and all. And that's the story of old Coyote Dick. Willow Dean said, "You forgot to tell her the ending." "What ending? I already told her the ending," grumpy old Red said. "You forgot to tell her the real ending of the story, you old tank of gas." "Well, if you remember so well, you tell her." And he rose up off his chair, his old creaky chair, and went to get the doorbell. Willow Dean looked me straight in the eyes, and they sparked. And I swear, in that moment, Barbeau took hold of her because she said, "The end is the moral of the story." At first she began to giggle. Then she began to laugh. And finally, she had a full belly laugh going on. Couldn't stop. And it took her 2 minutes to get these last 2 sentences out. The moral is that those nettles, even once Coyote Dick got out of them, made his cock itch like crazy forever after. And that's why men are always sliding up and wanting to rub up against him. Rub it up against you with that "I'm so itchy" look in their eyes. You know, that universal cock has been itching ever since the first time it ran away. I don't know what it was about it that struck me, but we sat there in her kitchen, shrieking and pounding the table till we practically lost all muscle control. Afterward, the sensation reminded me of just having eaten a big old bit of good horseradish. This truly is the kind of story I think Barbeau told. Her repertoire includes anything that makes women laugh like that. Unrestrained, not caring about showing your tonsils, letting your belly hang out, letting your breast shake. There is something about a sexual laugh that is different from a laugh about more tame things. A sexual laugh seems to reach both far and deep into the psyche, shaking all manner of things loose, playing upon our bones and making a delightful feeling course through the body. It is a form of wildish pleasure that belongs in every woman's psychic repertoire. The sacred and the sensual and sexual live very near one another in the psyche, for they are all brought to the attention through a sense of wonder. Not from intellectualizing, but through experiencing something through the physical pathways of the body. Something that for the moment or forever, whether it a kiss, a vision, a belly laugh, changes us, shakes us out, takes us to a pinnacle, smooths out our lines, give us a dance step, a whistle, and a true burst of fucking life. In the sacred, the obscene, the sexual, there is always a wild laugh waiting. A short passage of silent laughter, a crow nasty laughter, or the wheeze that is a laugh. The laugh that is wild and like an animal, or the trill that is like a run on the musical scale. Laughter is a hidden side of women's sexuality. It is physical, elemental, passionate, vitalizing, and therefore arousing. It is a kind of sexuality that does not just have a goal, as does genital arousal. It is a sexuality of joy, just for the moment, a true sensual love that flies free and lives and dies and lives again, on and on in its own energy. It is sacred because it is so healing. It is sensual for it awakens the body and the emotions. It is sexual because it is exciting and causes waves of pleasure. It is not one-dimensional, for laughter is something one shares with oneself as well as with many others. It is a woman's wildest sexuality. Here is another peek at a woman's story in the Dirty Goddesses, and it goes into a beautiful other story. But that is the story of Coyote fucking Dick.